My best friend secretly signed me up as the emergency contact for her dog at an expensive vet, saying, "You make more money, so you should handle it." The next day, she showed up expecting me to pay, only to find out I had transferred the bill to her parents. She turned pale as they stormed in, furious. I was at my desk, the glow of my computer screen illuminating the late hour, when my phone buzzed. It was Rachel, my best friend since college. "Hey, can you do me a favor?" she asked, her voice tinged with urgency. "Sure, what's up?" I replied, leaning back in my chair. "I'm heading out of town for a week for work. Can you be Bella's emergency contact while I'm gone?" Bella was Rachel's golden retriever, a lively bundle of fur that had been her companion for years. "Of course, happy to help," I said without hesitation. "Thanks. I'll let the vet know," she said, relief evident in her tone. The next day, as I was immersed in a project at work, my phone rang. An unfamiliar number flashed on the screen. "Hello?" I answered. "Is this Sarah?" a professional voice inquired. "Yes, who's calling?" "This is Dr. Mitchell from Austin Veterinary Specialists. Bella has been brought in with severe symptoms. As her emergency contact, we need your authorization for immediate treatment." My heart raced. "What happened?" "She was found unresponsive. We suspect she ingested something toxic. We need to perform emergency procedures, but we require consent and a payment authorization." Without a second thought, I agreed. "Do whatever you need to save her." "Understood. We'll keep you updated." Hours crawled by as I awaited news. Finally, Dr. Mitchell called. "Bella is stable now. It was touch and go, but she's a fighter." Relief washed over me. "Thank you so much." "There's the matter of the bill. The total comes to $5,200. I was taken aback. "Oh, I see. Rachel mentioned you'd handle any expenses in her absence." Confusion set in. "She said that?" "Yes, she stated that as her emergency contact, you'd be responsible for decisions and associated costs." I hesitated but provided my credit card information, prioritizing Bella's health. Later that evening, Rachel returned. They agreed to transfer the billing to Rachel's parents, who were listed as secondary contacts. I then informed Rachel of my decision. The next day, Rachel stormed into my apartment. "How could you involve my parents? This is humiliating," she yelled. "You put me in an impossible position." "Your parents did." "She didn't." I started getting weird texts from unknown numbers. Stuff like, "You could have handled this privately," and "Not cool throwing your friend under the bus like that." At first, I ignored them. But they kept coming. Same tone. Passive-aggressive, vague, like they wanted to sound threatening without actually saying anything illegal. Then I noticed Rachel had unfollowed me on social media. Not just unfollowed. Blocked. And mutual friends? Suddenly quiet. A few of them stopped liking my posts. Some wouldn't reply to my messages. It was like I had the plague. One night, I got a call from Zoe, a mutual friend who never got involved in drama. She said, "Hey, just so you know, Rachel's been telling people you made her sign a vet release form and then dumped the bill on her parents to humiliate her. That you knew she couldn't afford it and did it out of spite." I felt my heart drop. "What? That's not what happened at all." "I know," Zoe said. "But she's saying you were power tripping. That you were always weird about money and liked having control." That pissed me off. I worked hard. I saved. I never used money to manipulate anyone. But Rachel was flipping the whole thing and twisting it into a revenge story, like I was the villain. The worst part? Some people were buying it. I tried to stay calm. I kept my distance. I focused on work, but the silence from our friend circle was eating at me. One person even messaged me and asked, "Did you really threaten to sue Rachel if she didn't pay you back for the vet bill?" I'd never said that. Not even close. That's when I started documenting everything. The texts, the voicemail from the vet, the invoice, even screenshots of our conversation where she admitted she thought I'd just cover it. I wasn't planning to do anything with it. Not yet. But I wanted to be ready. Then it got worse. I got an email from HR at work. Someone had anonymously sent a message accusing me of financial abuse of a vulnerable friend. They included a half-assed summary of the vet bill situation, making it sound like I forced Rachel into debt. HR said they had to do a routine check since my name came up. I was floored. Furious. I knew it had to be Rachel. No one else knew enough to frame it like that. But she didn't leave her name, and she used a throwaway Gmail account. HR saw through it eventually. They said there wasn't enough info, and it looked like a personal dispute, but the fact that it reached my job, that crossed the line. I wasn't going to sit quietly anymore. I reached out to Rachel's parents. I still had their info from the vet paperwork. I asked if we could meet. They agreed. We sat down in a quiet diner in Round Rock. Her mom looked tired. Her dad looked angry, but not at me. They said they'd paid the vet bill. That Rachel told them it was all a misunderstanding. But when I showed them the texts, the screenshots, the messages I'd been getting from strangers, they looked shocked. Her dad leaned back in the booth and said, "She said you were rich. That you were trying to make a point." "She used me," I said. "She didn't even ask. Just assumed." Her mom sighed. "We'll talk to her. This isn't the first time she's done something like this." That made me pause. "What do you mean?" Her mom exchanged a look with her husband, then said, "She's had issues with friends before. We usually stay out of it. But maybe we shouldn't have." I left the diner with my hands shaking. I wasn't sure if it was relief or just rage that had nowhere to go. I didn't want to destroy Rachel, but I wasn't about to let her keep dragging my name through the mud, either. That's when I made the decision to tell my side publicly. I logged into my old Reddit account. I typed out everything, every detail, every receipt. I left names out, but I made sure the story was crystal clear. I didn't post it for karma. I posted it because I wanted the truth to exist somewhere. I hit submit. Within hours, the post blew up. People flooded the comments. Some shared similar stories. Others offered legal advice. A few even guessed the city right and said they knew exactly who I was talking about. Then, someone DM'd me. "You should check this," they said, linking me to a TikTok. It was Rachel. She was crying, telling her side of the story to her followers, making it sound like she was just a broke girl trying to save her dog and that her ex-best friend used it to humiliate her. But what caught my eye wasn't the video. It was the comments. People weren't buying it. They were linking to my Reddit post, comparing dates, picking apart her lies. Someone even dug up screenshots from when she bragged about her new designer purse a week after the vet incident. The tide was turning. And I hadn't even said her name. The post kept getting traction. I stopped checking the comments after a while. It was overwhelming. Some people were on my side, some neutral, but the internet being the internet, there were trolls too. Still, something about telling my side felt like taking back control. Then something unexpected happened. A message popped up on my LinkedIn from a woman I didn't recognize at first. Her name was Diana. She wrote, "Hey, this is random, but I think I know the Rachel you're talking about. Can we talk?" I hesitated, but curiosity won. We talked. Diana wasn't just another stranger. She was Rachel's old roommate from about 3 years ago. They'd lived together in Dallas when Rachel had just gotten out of college. "She did the same thing to me," Diana said. "Not with a dog, but with rent." Diana explained that Rachel had let her believe they were splitting a lease, but Rachel never signed it. Then when the landlord asked for late rent, Rachel ghosted and told Diana, "You make more money. You'll be fine." Diana ended up in collections because the lease was only in her name. It was the same exact pattern. The same manipulative tone. Same excuses. Always someone else's fault. Always playing poor while wearing new shoes and going to brunch. We ended the call after an hour. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The lies. The pattern. The way Rachel spun people into doing things they didn't agree to and made them feel guilty for pushing back. I had been her next Diana. Then came the next curveball. A week after my post went viral, I received a letter in the mail. Not email. Not a text. An actual certified letter. It was from a lawyer. Rachel's lawyer. It was a cease and desist. The letter claimed I was spreading defamatory content online and that Rachel had suffered reputational harm. It threatened legal action if I didn't delete the post and issue an apology. I stared at the letter for a long time. She wanted to sue me? After everything? For telling the truth? I contacted a friend of mine who worked for a legal nonprofit. She wasn't a defamation lawyer, but she knew enough to guide me. She looked at the Reddit post, read the letter, and said, "They're bluffing. You never used her name. You kept everything anonymous. They'd have to prove damages, which they can't. And if she sues, you can counter with harassment, false claims to your employer, and public defamation via TikTok." I saved the letter. Didn't respond. Then I did something that might have been petty, but it was also smart. I printed out the entire Reddit post, along with Rachel's cease and desist letter, the emails from my job, the texts she sent me, and a screenshot of her crying TikTok. I slipped it into a large envelope and dropped it off anonymously at the front desk of the vet clinic. Let them see exactly who they'd dealt with. About a day later, I got a call from the vet's office manager. She asked if I could come in to clear up some records. I agreed. When I got there, she sat me down. She said, "We had no idea there was so much behind the scenes. We've noted that Rachel should not be listing you, or anyone, without written consent again." Turns out, after I left, Rachel tried to re-add me as Bella's emergency contact. Again. After everything. She'd walked in, acted casual, and tried to update the file, just in case something ever happened again. They asked for paperwork. She got flustered. Said she'd come back. She didn't. And the best part? They'd flagged her account for requiring prepayment up front for any future procedures. No more assuming someone else would step in. But the story didn't stop there. A few days later, Zoe, the mutual friend who'd warned me earlier, texted again. "Have you seen Rachel's Insta?" she asked. I checked. Rachel had gone full damage control mode. New profile bio. Wiped a bunch of old posts. Added a mental health awareness ribbon. She posted a long caption about learning from toxic relationships and growing from betrayal. She never said my name, but the tone was clear. She was flipping the script again. Painting herself as a victim. A survivor of mean, controlling people who weaponized money against her. But it wasn't working like before. People in the comments were pushing back. Asking questions. Quoting the Reddit post. Some even mentioned Diana, who, it turns out, had made her own post too. It didn't go viral, but it was detailed. Same kind of manipulation. Same Rachel. Rachel tried to delete comments. Then she turned them off entirely. And then, she vanished. Her profiles went private. Her name disappeared from most of our mutual friends lists. She stopped showing up at meetups. I didn't hear from her again. But the mess she made didn't disappear with her. I kept hearing bits and pieces. Someone tried to room with her, and that blew up over a utilities payment issue. Another friend claimed Rachel borrowed money for Bella's food and never paid it back. It all lined up. I wasn't the first, and I definitely wouldn't be the last. I thought about deleting the Reddit post a few times, just to move on. But I left it up. Not out of spite. Just as a warning. Because people like Rachel? They count on others staying quiet. A month passed. Things got quiet. Too quiet. Rachel had disappeared from social media. People weren't talking about it anymore. My post was still up, still getting comments now and then, but the storm had passed. Or so I thought. Then one Friday evening, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened it, I saw Rachel's mom. She looked tired, like someone who hadn't slept well in a long time. "Can we talk?" she asked. I let her in. We sat on the couch. She didn't sugarcoat anything. "She's in trouble," she said. "Rachel." I waited. She got fired from her job. Her manager said she kept lying about needing time off, using Bella as an excuse. She missed a big client call and blamed someone else. It all caught up. I said nothing. I wasn't surprised. She's been staying with us. We thought she just needed time to get back on her feet. But we found out she took out a credit card in her sister's name. Maxed it out. That stopped me. She's always been dramatic, her mom continued. But this? It's something else now. She's lying to everyone. Blaming everyone. Including you. Why are you telling me this? I finally asked. Her mom looked straight at me. Because I think she's going to come after you again. She's been spiraling. She talks about how you ruined her life. That she wants to make things even. I felt my jaw clench. After everything she had done, she still saw herself as the victim. I nodded. Thanks for the heads up. Rachel's mom left. I locked the door behind her and just stood there for a minute. I should have been afraid. But I wasn't. I was done letting Rachel control my peace. So I made one last move. I opened my laptop, went back to the Reddit post. Then I created an update, clearly written, no personal attacks, just facts. I included everything that had happened since. The fake HR complaint. The lawyer letter. Her attempt to re-add me at the vet. The anonymous messages. The visit from her mom. Even the identity theft her own family uncovered. I didn't use her name. Still. But I wasn't holding back this time. I ended it with, some people keep digging holes so they can climb into them and pretend they were pushed. Just know, I'm done being quiet. I've kept receipts. And if she comes for me again, I won't just be posting on Reddit. I hit post. And then I filed a police report. I had texts, letters, screenshots, voice memos. I showed it all to an officer. I told them I wasn't accusing her of a crime, yet. I just wanted a record. Something official. In case she escalated again. 2 days later, I got a call. She tried to use my name to apply for a store credit card at a pet supply chain. They caught her because she spelled my last name wrong. The store flagged it, ran it through fraud systems, and sent a report. Because of my police filing, it pinged. That was the final nail. The police brought her in. Her parents refused to post bail. She sat in a holding cell for 48 hours before her public defender got her out. It all came out after that. The credit card in her sister's name. The fake vet contact. The fake story to her followers. The anonymous email to my job. The social media lies. The manipulation. People stopped defending her. She became a cautionary tale in our friend group. Don't pull a Rachel. She called me once. Left a voicemail. No apology. Just bitterness. Said I destroyed her life over a dog. But I didn't destroy anything. She built her lies brick by brick. I just turned on the light so everyone could see the mess. And maybe I made mistakes too. Maybe I should have asked more questions when she asked me to be the emergency contact. Maybe I gave her too much benefit of the doubt for too long. Maybe I let loyalty cloud logic. But the line had to be drawn. Sometimes revenge isn't slamming doors or screaming matches. Sometimes revenge is calm. Cold. Clean. Sometimes it's just making sure the truth survives long enough to be believed.